Alrighty.
I am so honored to have this next guest, second time. He was my first ever guest. I didn't even realize he would be the start of many, what your number 91, Bozu, born as Ken Anama. He has quite a story to share. I think when you first came on, it was more like, what do you need to teach children and the ROI, the return on investment, education. But a little bit about his background: born here in Honolulu, grew up in Paava. I don't know why I've never heard of Pava'a. I looked it up, but near Kapahulu. It's like in town, right?
That's right where Washington Intermediate School
Oh,
is.
Washington Intermediate. Okay.
Hmm.
Father of two adult children. And recently he has a son-in-law, so his daughter tied the knot. Married, bus operator, but former you were in the EMT field, right?
Hmm.
And then this is the reason why I brought you back on is your journey surviving COVID. And I love how you mentioned that you are a COVID long hauler. So let us know how that journey changed your life, and was it a shock? Because I know you were anti-vaccine, and as I was following your story, your belief system changed because
Hmm.
you lost close people as well, right?
I sure did. Um, August, towards the end part, um, was the beginning of hell. I caught COVID, and prior to that, I was, the anti-vaxxer because, like anybody who's worked in the medical field,
Mm.
anything experimental and they just want to just give it to you already, kind of sounds fishy. So I was kind of totally against it. But come August, late August, around the 22nd, I say, um, I caught COVID. And now there's a difference between what you see on the news as far as people getting COVID, um, with the stats, like 300 people got COVID today. Those are just the tested people who are carrying it. Okay, they're not the people who actually systemically got it infected, just like me. And this is why it's important that I tell people to keep your immune system up, because I got a little sick in August, the flu season and stuff, but that left a very instant portal uh, for the COVID to get into my system. And that time it was the Delta virus. And the Delta variant kills big time. Well, it didn't kill me, but it almost killed me. Throughout my whole ordeal from the beginning part, um, I did go into respiratory arrest. I did die for a few seconds, and I came back. Um, I was in the ICU for at least a couple of months. I was intubated and ventilated for, let's say, maybe about 3 weeks. And then I have a scar of a trach tube that was inserted in me, because you can't really keep an endotracheal tube, which goes in your mouth, in you very long. So this trach tube here basically allows you to either get ventilated mechanically, or you can breathe on your own through that tube for now. And that actually made it safer for me. So once I got off of the ventilator, um, my lungs started to heal. I had two sides of what they call bilateral pneumonia from COVID. Just keep in mind, COVID stays with you for about 6 days when you're infected. But the amount of damage it can do within that short period of time is tremendous. I mean, it did things to me that I never knew anything could do. I mean, this is like, coronaviruses are flus, okay, like we normally do. But this particular strain is voracious. I mean, it is like having some rampant kid run through your house, destroy everything, and run out of that front door again in a few seconds, and leaving tons and tons of damage. And that's exactly what happened to me. I was in the hospital from August until the ending of December. I mean, I'm sorry, October. So I was in there all that time. In that time, I lost a lot of muscle, a lot of core muscle. I lost about 50 pounds because I was just being too fed. I couldn't eat. Maybe the last uh, week and a half of my the last week and a half of my stay at the hospital, I started eating solid foods, and then from then it was just being a long hauler. I had to learn how to walk again, but a lot of times when you walk, I can't even walk from the bed to the hospital, into the room door without my heart rate jumping up to about 150, and my oxygen sats uh, drops. But then what they look for is how your body recovers from that short incident. So it was doing good. My lungs were actually doing a lot better. Now my oxygen sats are high. I never went home with oxygen. That was a good blessing. I have a lot of friends who had COVID and are long haulers, but they had to go home with some oxygen. For me, I didn't have to, and now I'm gaining muscle back. I'm gaining my core muscle back. My breathing's a heck of a lot better than it is. It's not 100% yet. I can't, walk Kapiolani Park the whole thing like I used to yet. We're getting there. But I go through physical therapy 3 times a week, and that simulates a lot of core building exercises, and it really helps. It really does. And what's good to know now is that with that exertion through physical training, my heart rate in the beginning goes up to maybe about 110. Blood pressure was kind of high, but it was always high throughout the whole COVID situation because your body goes through tremendous stress. Um, Blood pressure now is controlled again. It's normal. My heart rate doesn't go up as much as it used to now, which is a really good sign. And my oxygen sats have been cherry. I mean, they're way over 95, 96, and it's been maintaining that even through exercise. So I know I'm getting better. It's not something fast, and stuff, but it'll take time. Now, there's a difference between the long haulers and those that just have, the COVID and recover from it. Now they're recovers. Like my wife and my son, when I got COVID, my wife and my son got it, but they got it minorly, where they ended up just taking some meds and they were good to go in a few days. Yeah. For me, I caught the brunt of it. During that time that I was in the hospital, I lost my uncle who had COVID, but he also had a lot of major underlying problems too. And this is Bird. Uh, but he knew he was gonna go, and COVID did him in. I had a classmate who was supposed to retire from the fire department in December last year. He died in September from COVID, being in Texas, and that was a little hard because I just was on the phone with him before I got COVID. That month actually, before I got COVID, just talked to him, and then he went on a trip for some kind of seminar or something, and well, didn't make it. He died up there. So COVID, it's nothing to fool around with. Um, you get it, you get it. And like I said, the numbers that you find on TV is more of carriers. Now, people will carry it, whether you get the vaccine or not. Like, what changed my mind is that, yeah, maybe if I had the vaccine, I wouldn't have had COVID that bad when I got it systemically. So I did. After I got out, I got my first 2 doses, and I'm due for a booster in, I believe it's May. No, April. So next month. But we all carry it in our hair, in our skin. No matter what we do, we carry COVID no matter what. So you can't really stop it. And then if you take the test, you and I know the test is not 100%. Many false positives. And what's the truth? I mean, but right now we have to learn to live with it. We have to learn to live with COVID. Just keep yourself healthy. I think over the last few decades, our diets, our lifestyles have been really bad. And lots of things I learned about changes in my diet. exercising. Yeah. Now I know the mask mandate kind of throws people off, but um, I think my whole perspective of it is you wear it when you feel it's necessary. Um, and you know, it's not like you have to be forced to wear it. You want to wear it, it's your choice. It's just like the vaccine, it's your choice. You know, I'm not going to push it and say you have to take the vax. No, that's not my place to say. But if you get COVID and you suffer from it, you know, and you become a long hauler like me, that probably will change your mind, you know. But you know, the consequences is it's all up to you. And that really changed my life as far as perspective, as far as making choices and stuff like that. But now, you know, life is different. Life is actually really good. I look at life so differently now. You know, um, it's not as pressuring as I should. I mean, I've been home since August. Well, since October, but you know, I've been out of work since August for now. And I thank my company, you know, for helping me out on this journey I've taken, and hopefully I can go back driving the bus again soon. But when I do drive, I'll take a little more extra cautions because that's where I got it. You know, wear a better mask, you know, and stuff. And there are better masks that I can wear out there, and we'll just use that, and that should keep me all good. But keeping healthy, you know, the diets and stuff. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna eat like how I used to on the bus. You know, I cannot. I cannot. No, even if I tried, I couldn't do it. You know, I can't eat the bus driver portions. You know, it's hard for me to eat all the fast foods that are out there. But you know, when you go to fast food places like Jack in a Box or McDonald's, you know, choose the healthier ones. You know, I didn't like burgers with vegetables inside. You know, I didn't like eating the chicken sandwiches. You know, because it's like, oh, chicken. No, I like hamburger. You know, I've even got to the point because of Lent. Okay, I'm not Catholic, but everybody in my house is, so we got to
Hmm.
follow the rules of no meat on Friday. And this past week was Ash Wednesday, and it was for so two whammies, no meat, right? Ended up trying these um, protein, well, plant
Plant-based.
protein, plant-based protein burgers, and
I know. I'm trying to
Sandra,
get my husband. We still went to Costco. It's plant-based chili, and he's like plant-based. As soon as you said plant-based,
yeah, I know it's
he lost
plant-based, but
me.
you just have to tell them
Try
beans.
it, right?
That's
What
plant.
I'm thinking of, yeah, what I'm thinking of doing is giving it to him without telling him. But see, what do you tell people who say, you only have one life. I'm gonna just eat crap, enjoy life, and if I die, I die. See, but if you, I mean, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a choice you said, but after suffering from what
Mm-hmm.
you did, what would you tell people? I mean, yeah, it's easy
It's
to say,
it's
yeah, if
not
I die, I die, but the
it's
suffering.
not bad at all. In fact, my son and I were experimenting how to cook this burger. Okay, now we tried it frozen, straight in a pan. We just tried it frozen. It was okay. It's called Beyond Burger,
Oh,
and I
I've heard of
gotta
that.
admit, yeah, I gotta admit, out of all the plant-based burgers out there, we finally found a way to cook this burger, and it actually has the texture. It even has the taste of a real burger, and I was just tripping
So
out.
what's the
But
secret?
steam it first. Take it frozen, put it in the pan, add just a little bit of water, and cover it. Let it kind of thaw out. Now I know the recommendations on the package says to thaw it out in the ice box first, but when you're hungry, like hurry up.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you just add a little water in it, steam it, and then once it's all steamed and thawed out, then fry it like a regular hamburger patty. Oh my god, it was really good. It was
Wow.
really good. You know, just dress it up with some tomatoes, some lettuce, and onions, and a little mayo, mayo inside, and wow,
So
you
it's a
couldn't even
mindset.
tell.
You think it's a
Yeah,
mindset shift?
it is. And tell your husband that chili beans are not meat; they're vegetables. So
Exactly. But you know what? It's like chili beans with the meat. But I think so many, I mean, not to be gender biased, but I think a lot of men, like my friends, are vegan, and their husband's like, nope, I need the steak. I need the,
well, if it makes them feel better, just tell them cow is a vegetable. I mean, if they say you are what you eat, then cow is a vegetable. I told the priest that, and he kind of like, in theory, yeah, but in God's word, no. And I'm like, oh, because you think, okay, if you eat fish or if you eat crabs,
Yeah.
shrimps, they're scavengers. They eat their own. They eat meat. So why can't we eat cow when they eat vegetables? Something is wrong. I don't know. The
It is
theology
kind
is
of,
kind
it is kind of weird, but
of,
so
yeah,
how did your life change? We were just talking earlier about
yeah.
how what you used to worry about.
I used to worry about my health. I used to worry about, you know, um, am I going to make enough money? Does my paycheck suffice? And honestly, I am making way less right now than what I was doing. But you know what? I think I'm living a lot better than when I was making more money. You know, um, the things we buy, the things we do, it keeps, there are some things that just keep me busy. Like lately, for my recovery, I've been just kind of doing a lot of arts and crafts kind of thing. And here, let me show you what I've been doing. Um, I'll show you what I do is I make these pocket rosaries, and what because it
Oh, I saw
involves
that.
it involves creativity.
Mm-hmm.
It involves dexterity, coordination, hand-eye coordination, and it also what do you call that? It just keeps my mind busy because sometimes lying in bed doing nothing at all um, can really bore you and kind of slow things, and it can lead to depression.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of them. Okay, a
Beautiful.
pocket rosary, okay, has 10 beads, okay, and if you're a Catholic or if you understand it represents the decade, okay, and I put three extra ones on the side here to represent the trilogy: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And then, I put a cross or a centerpiece on it and stuff. Some of them don't have, um, some of them don't have the three extra beads, but they do have, you know, the they do have the trilogy. Now, this is one I make for my firefighter friends. Okay, and the reason why the colors is because firefighter turnouts are those colors, brown and the high vis and the reflection. But if you look closely, I glued some of those the St. Florian cross onto a regular wooden cross. And it also has the trilogy here, the beads, okay, the Father, the Son, Holy Spirit. Um, and it also has 10 decades on it. So these are the different types of pocket rosaries that keep my mind busy. And it helps, especially when you got COVID. Um, you got to stay busy because depression is another big problem. You know, I have to admit, I did have my bout with depression when I first came home. Needed to take a little medicine to help me sleep. Sometimes I still can't get the long sleep that I want. Sometimes I got to get up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and, just got to eat something small, or
Mm-hmm.
I got to watch TV or something, just to keep me, and then I'll go back to sleep. But having COVID is not fun. Recovering from COVID, I don't know what's worse. I don't know what's harder. I don't know what's harder. But throughout the day, you just have to try to stay busy. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, and my bird right here, he gives a lot of solace too. When I came home, the two of them actually were sitting on top of me. The girl bird that Miss Antisocial actually was sociable for just that 1 second. She came running up to me. She came and nuzzled up to me, and then after that, she walked away and like, okay, you're home. You know, but
Wow.
like him, he always likes to be held. He's the honey bunny, the honey boy. You know,
Oh.
but this is my stress relief too. Yeah, because I can't have a dog. But they're worse than dogs. you know. But yeah, COVID, being a long hauler, I'm happy that I'm a long hauler because I'm alive.
Yes.
But I also feel for the people out there that either have family members that didn't make it, you know, because that when it attacks older people, oh, it really busts. It's hard for them to recover. Younger people have a better chance. I'm kind of like, I'm in the middle. I'm the mid-age kind of deal, and it's either come or go. And a lot of people my age, because their health factor is important. And like I said, in the last few decades, we haven't been taking care of our health. We rely so much on medicines to do the cure all, when medicines don't work unless you yourself have to make the effort.
Hmm.
I still take a whole bunch of other medicines too, but along with that goes with the diet, the exercise, the positive thinking, and things like that. Yeah. So
Did you
it's
exercise before? Like
no,
how was
not as much as I do now. When you have PT 3 times a week. Oh, hang on, let me put him back. There, whoa, whoa. Okay. So now that I do PT 3 times a week, the exercise regime is different. I get to work my upper and my lower muscles,
Mhm.
but in a different fashion. It's not all weightlifting, or it's not all, it's basically hand muscle, cycling and stretching. It's all it is. And it's just amazing how much it actually works, and as you can tell the muscles are getting developed a little bit more, is because when you stretch, you're going to tend to feel like, oh, I thought I stretched out. Oh, I got to stretch some more now. That's
Mhm.
because more muscle is building. I lost weight when I checked in the doctor the first time during my first checkup. I was only like 200 pounds.
What's your
Now I'm
regular, or what was prior to?
I lost. I'd say, well, in the hospital, I was at about just under 260. So I lost about 55 pounds, maybe give or take. And last time I went to the doctor, I was at 217, but it's not fat. It's all muscle. Muscle is very, very dense and heavy. And it's all because I'm doing, you do the exercise and the eating part, honestly, a small bowl of something is actually good enough. And sometimes I don't even eat lunch because I'm still full from breakfast. Because metabolism wise, for me, it's a little slower than it was. But cool, come dinner time, oh, watch out, I pig out. But it just depends, on what's on the table for dinner. So other than that, drink a lot of water. I've been drinking more water than I ever did before. And then water is good for you. Um, and then I drink a protein shake before I work out. So that's actually really important. But overall, I'm eating better. Looking at life a lot better. Things are happier now for some reason. COVID has its positives.
Mhm.
You know, like I noticed the other day that the hair on my legs have actually gone black and not thin, and the areas where my hair fell off the lower part of my leg because of diabetes that I've had,
Mm.
my hair is all growing back. I was like, whoa. Now
Wow.
the other bad thing about it was the first part of recovery, I started losing my hair. Um, but that happens after every major sickness. It's
Mhm.
caused it's caused by the stress. But here's the thing: it takes forever to grow back. So it has its ups and downs. It's those things that I've noticed that COVID does to you. Um, that this it either screws you up or just changes things that you're used to do. It just changes, and only you would notice it.
Mhm.
It's like, I don't feel like this, or I feel like this now. you know and the thing about it is too is it's not consistent. Sometimes I can be lying down like a normal day, getting ready to go PT, and all of a sudden my body just becomes tired. It's like, the chronic fatigue, the fatigue syndrome that sets in is weird. When I first started PT, um, there's this thing called DOMS, and what it is delay onset of muscle soreness. So my first day of working PT, yeah, it worked out really good. 2 days later, walking in Sam's Club, all of a sudden in the middle of the club, oh, where did that pain come from? It's like, oh, that's weird. I had a hard time walking out of Sam's because it was just that sore. But it was pain from PT 2 days prior. Kind of weird, yeah.
Yeah.
But thank goodness I don't have to worry about that now. If I take my protein drink, um, and just work out normally, it's good. So things are slowly getting back together. I'd say I'm like maybe about 90% recovered. The other 10% is going to take a while, but hopefully good enough where I can go back and drive, slowly introduce me back into getting back on the bus again. I mean, I drive car every day. That's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So driving a bus shouldn't be a problem.
Are they waiting for you to get like 100% or at a certain level?
No, I mean, whenever happens, but as much as recovered enough where the doctor feels I can go back to work, and from there they let you decide how much you can, if you can handle it or not. Because COVID long haulers fall under the American Disabilities Act. So if employers or anybody cannot penalize you if all of a sudden you don't feel good while you're at work. If you gotta go sick on the line, they can't penalize you for that because we're covered under federal ADA law now.
Wow, that's good. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, so it's awesome. You know, I've never been able to consider myself as disabled, but in technical terms, yeah, I am. But most cases, it's good. I mean, I'm doing better. I have this
I
shirt that
love
I
that. Can
wear.
you show the whole, yes,
Yeah,
every day better.
every day better. And I got this from a friend of mine whose friend prints these out, and I'm gonna get more shirts. But when I wear it to PT, everybody's like, "Oh, yeah, that's right." Because when you go to PT, everybody's all boss up. Their knee, their arms, and what. But I thought, like, every day get better. You just gotta work it. You just gotta work it. You know. So it gives a lot of positiveness around there.
Well, you've
Positive
always
energy.
been a source of positivity, I think. Like when you used to share you had like the Bozu cooking show or just the
Oh
things that you
yeah, yeah.
posted. It's always been high
Mhm.
energy. And I bet, how they really say a positive mindset like heals your physical, right? Your
It does.
physical self.
It does. It does. Being positive um, releases chemicals in your body that actually enhance your healing. Um, when laughter is the best medicine, they say, and that's the truth. You know, keeps your mind off being sick, and it gears you towards getting better. So I believe in that. I really
Well,
do.
then anything you do to avoid depression, because I've been, when my depression hits, it's like 1 or 2 years, and then you don't.
Mhm.
I realized recently. I mean, we need to take steps every day. Otherwise, you don't realize that you just sink into that black hole, and it seems suddenly. But don't you think it's like a progression if you don't
Yeah,
take care of your mental health?
exactly. And to me, the most important thing in any illness, I mean, in any illness, is learning to be aware of it. Period. You yourself would know when you're going to get into that depression mode, or
Mm-hmm.
you yourself, the body will tend to know when this is going to happen. I didn't know when COVID was going to happen, but I did know that every time I felt sick, I'll check my oxygen sats,
Mm-hmm.
and just to make sure that I'm okay. Uh, in that day in August, I was running an oxygen sat that's worth a dead man. I had it at 70, 76. So I said, oh, I better go. And what they did was they did the blood test for COVID, and I was positive for that. not the swab, nothing. They did the COVID blood test, the antigen test, and I had it. So they put me in a COVID unit, and I've been there until October. So it's you just have to be aware of what's happening now. Commercials say, oh, if you're sick, if you got fever or whatever, stay home. No, no. And the reason why I say that is because the people who die wait too long. They figure, oh, it's just a cold, I'm going to stay home, like the TV says, you know. And all that time, like I said, COVID's going to rip hell in your body, and all that time. And by the time you get help, it's too late. It's just too late. You're going to die, and it's nasty. So that's why I tell people, the moment you feel sick, hey, go to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the ER or whatever, and just say that you have these symptoms here. Can you check it out?
Well, because
I would
most
say,
people don't have, most people don't have the ability to check oxygen stats. So, but you were able
no,
to
they
do that.
don't. But the simple signs is like I had a little short of breath.
So
That's a big sign right
that's a
there.
big sign. Yeah.
That's a big sign right there. But see, it's just a matter of knowing awareness. It's just a know, like people who have heart problems, chest pain,
Mm-hmm.
very mild. But even if they don't, all of a sudden they start to sweat. They start to get short of breath. Boom, call the ambulance or call, but things like that, So I think it's just a matter of being aware of everything is what's going to save our lives. But you really can't. You can't. It's hard to tell everybody that they're not going to do it.
Well, don't you think a lot of people are in denial? It's like, oh, it's just a
Yeah,
flu. Oh, it's
yeah,
just I know
yeah,
people who have they
mhm,
get diagnosed at stage 4 cancer, but it's because they
yeah,
avoided the signs, or some
mhm.
people don't want to know.
Yeah. Exactly. Denial is a cure all. Yeah, for their mind, is a cure all. And for some people, if they know they're at stage 4 and they're aware of what that means, they're either going to make the best of life or they're just going to say, well, I'm going to go. I'd rather just go, and they think about their other, I don't want to be a burden on my family. I don't want to, I don't want them to suffer anymore, just take me already, you know. And that's all my uncle and my dad were, they didn't want medical care already. Um, they were told many times that this is, your kidney's not functioning, your heart not the best, and all that. What am I going to say? For me, I was a medic before, and I'm not going to say, no, he lied. Nah, you just got to go with it. You just got to live it day by day. You're going to go, you're going to go. But I'll tell you this, if you do go, you're probably going to be not suffering like how you are now.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. I mean, I think that's your whole message is, you're not enforcing your belief system, but do you want to choose to suffer, or maybe, yeah, go on your own terms,
On your own terms, yeah.
but avoid, if anything, right? If there's
Mhm.
one message as we close, what is that one message that you would tell people who, because there are people, I want it to be I don't want to be mandated to take the vaccine. I don't want to, be forced to. It should be a choice, and it should be. But what are your final words to people who say, you know what, I mean, some people say it's a hoax. Some people say, I'm not going to, everyone's going to get it, or, whether you get the vaccine or not, it doesn't make a difference. I'm not going to put something foreign in my body because you just don't know enough about it.
Well, I mean, if I was in that situation at the time, you know what? It's my choice.
Yeah.
Let me die happy. Don't let me die suffering. It's my choice. If I die happy, then everybody else should be happy. And that's how it is. We're not here forever. Now, my high school, the janitor when I was going to high school, always used to tell me, what, boy, you keep telling me you have to do this, you have to do this. I'll tell you something right now. The only thing you have to do is die. And that stopped me in my tracks. I told him, he goes, you were born, it's not your choice, but you have to die. Everything else is an option. And I thought about that. My God, I was like only a junior in high school when he told me that. And this was the custodian at school. And I said, you know, Mr. V, that's the truth. And I tell people that all the time, you know, you don't have to do it. You know, you don't have to do it, but the only thing you have to do is die. And, you know, they go, yeah, that's true, yeah. How you die, that's up to you. You know, it's up to you. It may not be up to you. You know, it might be the doing of others. And then, you know, that's where I tell people also that stupidity kills. You know, it's either going to kill you, or it's going to kill somebody else, or kill both of you. But because of stupidity. So if you want to live a little longer, don't be stupid. You know,
It's hard, don't you think? We were just driving. I think there's a big is it by the Pro Ridge overpass that they've caught kids who are doing racing, you know, like going really, really fast, and they do it or after midnight or something, and someone videotaped them recently. And I said,
oh
I
yeah,
bet the kids are between, I mean, if you were to guess, like 17 to 24, or you just know that, I mean, I could be wrong, but you know that daredevil phase
yeah,
where you think,
mhm,
I am invincible, let's have fun, and
right,
then you do something, you know?
yeah. That also happens because I live along by the freeway here in Kaimuki,
Oh,
and
same
it's a
thing.
straightaway. Oh yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning, one
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning, you can hear those guys ripping it. And yeah, sure, it's a bother, but you know what? That's their choice. You know, that's their choice whether they want to take it. You know, take the chance of crashing and dying, or something go mechanically wrong and their car flips over and they die. You know, oh well.
You know what's
You know,
sad
but
though,
I
though, if there's a like a 2-year-old in the car that they hit, but like you said, we have
exactly,
no, yeah, we have no
exactly.
control over it. So I
Yeah,
like that. That is a very powerful
it is.
the advice that your janitor gave you.
It was. You know, the only thing you have to do is die. And when you really think about it, everything else in life is an option. And you know, and to this day, I ingrained that in my kids. I ingrained that to just anybody that just having a hard time doing something. Oh man, I have to do this. You know, and I thought, well, you don't have to. You can die. Then they look at me like, what? I thought, think about it. So the only thing you have to do is die. Other than that, everything's an option. But if you want something to work, just step back, take a breather, and say, what am I doing wrong? I get frustrated times when I first started doing my rosaries because my knots weren't coming out right and they weren't sitting where I wanted to. So I sat there and I'm trying to figure, okay, how did my grandmother perfectly string pearls? Because when my grandparents had their jewelry store in downtown, her necklaces were famous. I mean, Mrs. Gora's. If you ever went to Gora Jewelers, or if you have aunties or grandmas that bought pearl necklaces from my grandmother at Gora Jewelers, my grandmother used to string these pearl necklaces that to this day um, are just priceless, you know. But I was trying to figure how she tied those knots, and all it was just an overhand knot. But how to get it to sit right at the butt of the pearl, I couldn't do it because I got fat fingers. And so I got frustrated. I figured, what did grandma do? So I reverted back to Google.
Ooh.
If Google was around when I was in high school, I would have been a genius.
I
I
tell
would have been
kids, yeah, I tell kids
I
there's
would have
no
been national.
excuse
Yeah.
because you can put in the word problem, you can put in
Yeah.
ideas for anything, and we didn't
Yep.
have Google back
We
then.
didn't. We didn't. But so I went to Google and all it was a pair of tweezers.
I was gonna
And
say
I
if you
went,
could use some kind of
yes.
device.
You just use the tweezers and pinch, you know, the butt of the end, the string on it, tie an overhand knot, bring it down, and then use it to slide it right up. I was like, then I thought about it. It's like, that's right. Grandma had a pair of tweezers. So I went and bought me because I thought I was going to be really, you know, manly about this, right? So instead of the stupid, you know, instead of the
You
tweezers,
don't
I
want
bought
that
this.
yeah.
Okay. I bought a tweeze. I bought a plier, but you know what? This is the clumsiest thing. I tried. I tried putting it on, and you know, I tried. It just didn't work.
So you
I
had to
mean,
revert to the traditional.
For now, and then I'm gonna run down to Ben Franklin later and buy a pair of tweezers. I'm just gonna give up being manly. Oh, that's another thing too. With this COVID thing, more and more, all those things that were manly is like, nah. I think the
Well,
women held.
vulnerability, yeah, vulnerability, they say, and being, that is true manliness because, real men don't have
Yeah,
that like
women have been holding out on a lot of great secrets, and they don't really push it. But I've been going to my pedicures because that helps with my ingrown toenail. But it feels so darn good, the feet, skin,
with the
everything.
massages and taking all
Yes,
the crusties off.
exactly. And I noticed a lot of construction guys going there, and
I remember. Yeah, during the past 5 years, a lot of men are going in because but before, see, it was like not manly. Now
yeah,
it's
it
like,
wasn't. The reason why is one of them told me this. He told me, my feet make my money. If I don't take care of that
yes,
feet, I don't make money. And then I thought back in those days, when I was in ROTC in high school, you got to take care of your feet, in the military. Yeah. The guys in the boot, you don't want jungle rot. You don't want this because without your feet, you can't do anything. So with all that in mind, the heck with the feminism out the door. I'm going.
exactly,
I'm going.
exactly.
A lot of guys are still saying, "Oh, that's just gross," until you try it. Until you try it, you're gonna come out feeling like a champ.
Yeah,
Women
yeah.
holding out on those guys. They don't push it. But it was my wife that pushed it. My son, he went. He still thinks it's kind of girly, but he said, "Oh yeah, I feel good." It's like, but
There's a Milani
yeah,
High
I'm going.
School coach whose wife is an esthetician. So I remember
Ah,
my student telling me, "Oh, I have an appointment." And he wouldn't say what it was. And then the mother
yeah.
said it was a facial, but the boys were breaking out. The boys were breaking out in all this
Yeah,
acne. So I said,
yeah.
"So, what was that appointment? Was your facial good?" And he looked at me like, and
How you
then I
doing?
said, "But it's
Yes.
okay." But the whole team, that one, and
Yeah,
and once you realize that, I bet it just people think, you
yeah.
know what, manliness is
Yes. Yeah.
what is
So
it?
this manly thing is gonna be part of maybe a auxiliary tool, but come later
But
today,
not
we're gonna have the little tweezers because that's what's gonna get the job done. But yeah, it's life is just funny. It's just funny, but the things it takes to change one's perspective on anything, you know, like for me, I guess you gotta learn the hard way, and I really learned the hard way. Sometimes it would have been a little too hard, but that's just the way to go. You know, I don't for my kids, like I said, the return on investment, it didn't come easy because I made them learn the hard way, and that's how they problem solve. My daughter's a flight attendant, and she has to problem solve all the time. Yeah, and I said, as long as you know company policies and federal regulations and rules, what you can and cannot do, then you can figure out how to do the problem. And my son does the same thing too. And I really wish a lot of parents would push that. Don't rely on the school to teach them stuff like that. Now, you said that your daughter wanted to go and buy her own car. Well, my kids all have bought their cars when they turn 18. The moment they turn 18, I made them buy their own cars. Why? Because I taught them how to build their credit history.
yes,
And that's one thing that school doesn't teach. They don't teach the federal. I mean, they don't teach financial literacy.
yes,
And thank goodness I used to work for a credit union where we taught it. So I figure, okay, I'm going to teach my kids that at an early age. What a loan is, what compound interest is, you know, how do you take out a loan? They own their vehicles and they are very responsible. My daughter is on her second car. My son just, is bought his car and he's beefing it up now. He's a two-wheel four-wheeler, I should say, because he doesn't have a 4x4, but he goes sand duning, he goes 4x4ing with his other friends with with a two-wheel drive Toyota. But I told him that the company, Toyota, makes their two-wheel drive 4Runners to act like a four-wheel drive. That's why he can get to places where 4x4s can go to. But he just had to modify some things, change the suspensions, put the tires in. He's buying that on his own. So if you look at his car looks totally book. But that's his thing. He likes to do it. He just came back from Kalailo doing sand runs, and he loves it, and he went to Peacock Flats. He went to Kaina Point. So, he likes doing that. He likes doing that. So I said, whatever, that's your doing. It's your money. You do what you want to do with it.
Finding your passion but financial
But,
responsibility as well, right?
But I didn't have any part of my kids buying their car. They bought it all on their own. They went to the credit unions, or my son got it through the bank, and they saw what they can buy and they bought it. I just wish that a lot of parents would teach their kids that kind of stuff. I'm reteaching my kid about compound interest, what that is. I tell him, dude, if you was to invest a penny, if I was to invest 1 cent into your bank account right now, by the time you're 22 years old, you would have over $500,000.
Yeah.
So he understands what compound interest does. Yeah. So it's learning how to do that, and that's how you make money. I mean, through a bank, you just compound the interest. But return on investment is very important. I'm kind of gearing up myself now how I'm going to teach my future grandkids if I ever get any, how we're going to do this. Because by the time that they get older, trends are going to be different, and that's important for parents too. You got to understand the new trends that kids and everybody have to go through, so that you can learn to mix whatever's old with the new.
Right.
Mix a little bit
like that the old trends, because that's the thing, right? Like a lot of maybe grandparents or older people, they can't understand the new trends, and they're not willing to, because of course the way that they learned was
learn to teach grandma how to use the remote control before she throws it at the
gosh.
TV. Hey, you and I know that. Oh boy. Try teaching my wife how to use her cell phone. Oh, it's even worse.
Well, the thing is, we used to just put the on button, and it's like auxiliary power, cable power, TV power. I'm like, this is so crazy.
Yeah. But one thing is, like I said, but old stuff will never die. Things that happened in the 20th century actually works. A good example is, okay, with the ongoing Ukrainian-Russian beef going on. Did you know that the BBC, the British Broadcasting Company, enacted 2 shortwave radio frequencies for Ukraine to get news from the BBC without Russia catching it? And it's just 2 low frequencies that nobody used anymore, because everything is all high tech. Well, go back to 20th century, go back to old school, and things actually worked. And look what's happening now. They're not, and this is without the use of Tesla's Starlink system. This is just straight shortwave radio, things that actually work, So yeah, never diss the old stuff. It always works. And then, like you and I were talking, if something new didn't work, we can revert back to old stuff. I don't know if my son and my daughter could. They'd probably die.
Well, because they don't know how to. We were just talking about, like, if the Wi-Fi is too slow, or if it's like, what am I gonna do without a cell phone? And we can survive without cell phone. It's fun to have it, but it's not a mandatory part.
Right.
Of,
We know how to how to live without it.
Yeah.
And that's why I taught my kids the same. I taught my kid, okay, what if I took away your phones? What if I took away this? They look at me like, oh, but can you survive? Can you survive? I believe they can. I know they can, because there's just other ways of doing things, But the big question that you ask kids when they whine or when they do something. Oh, the question: did you die?
Oh my gosh, my friend says that to me all the time.
Yep. Did you die?
Did you die? Well, she lost her home during the hurricane on Kauai. So she's like,
Hmm.
Karen, did your roof fly off? Did you die? But I
Yeah.
think
Did you
kids
die?
feel
Yeah.
like, yes, I died inside, they really feel
Yeah.
like they would, right?
Mhm.
But it's
You know.
because, like you said, maybe they don't have the resilience yet. Their
Right.
brains are still growing, so they
Hmm.
think it is the end of the world if it rained and they can't go to the beach, or their phone died and they can't contact, I don't know, they can't access their Instagram to,
Yeah.
whatever it
Exactly. You know,
is.
it's like life. Life is like gonna end. You know, if they're like, no, just pick yourself up and go, please. Thank you. You're stopping traffic.
I
Come
love
on.
that. Pick yourself up. That's a perfect quote to end. Pick
Yeah.
yourself up
And
and
just move on. You
move
know.
on. Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? Those words, though, are just will cure like
Hmm.
heartbreak. You lose a job, you lose
Yeah.
something that you think, even
Hmm.
with people, I'm sure it's really hard. I lost my mom, in October, and I'm realizing
Hmm.
that I need to just rely on like memories or just know that I can feel her or that I'm not gonna sink into deep depression because it truly is a mindset, right? And that we
You know,
can.
I always, when I was a medic and we had to tell people, oh yeah, your mom passed, or you know, you got to give them a little words of comfort. And I told them, look, they're gonna be with you forever now. They're in your heart. They're gonna be with you wherever you are, even in places you don't want them to be. They're going to be there. So be assured that move on with life. Be happy because they don't want you to be sad because up there, they're happier than you.
Mm-hmm. That's
And they
comforting
laugh.
though. Those words are comforting.
Yeah, they're
Instead of
just,
well, at least they lived a long life, or at least
I mean, yeah, they did, and they deserve, and I tell them, and it sounds kind of rough sometimes, but I tell them, you know what, they deserve to die because they deserved it. They earned that privilege.
ooh.
If you take your own life, that's selfishness. That's selfishness because you didn't think about people who cared about you and all that. All you thought about was yourself, and you wanted people to feel sorry for you. Well, you didn't give them a chance. You know that's why during Christmas time we used to get a lot of building jumpers, and
Mm.
Christmas is the most depressing time of the year. But every time I see suicides and stuff, and you wonder, okay, yeah, they went through some trouble, but did they seek help? No, they're weak. I didn't really. I used to every time I pronounced a body that was due to suicide, I thought, well, good luck. Good luck on your venture. I hope everybody else who loved you, are happy with what your decision is. I scold them. I don't say scold on dead body, but I look at death differently from everybody else. But yeah, like I said, they're gonna be with you. Your mom is with you, even in places you don't want her to be. Like, mom, step outside a little while. I need my privacy. No, that ain't gonna happen no more. She gonna watch every little step you take.
I love
So
that. Thank
so
you so much. Thank you so, so much. I was really looking forward to this, and I think you have inspired so many people in changing their mindset to
oh
choose
yeah,
life, to choose
choose life.
hope,
Yep.
and to, what do you
I guess
say? Get back up and move.
choose you choose life because for me, I almost lost it, and I don't ever want to do that again. If I'm gonna lose it, let me close my eyes, let me not feel nothing, and just go. Not the kind where let me close my eyes and stop breathing and then come back. They're like, oh, now I gotta pay for it. And then you get all these people. Did you see the light?
Yeah.
I, no, I saw no light
You
because I
saw no
wasn't
light.
even near the light when I turned back and came back to this body.
Well, because within seconds, I bet, right? You were so lucky.
Well, they found
It
me on
wasn't
the
your time.
floor. They found me on the floor in the hospital on my face, and they called a
What?
code. Yeah, I didn't know that. The nurse kept telling me. I was like, really? I end up on the floor.
And they must have called your kids, your wife. I mean, that must have been so
Well, in the beginning
scary.
they didn't because they were working on me, but when I
Yeah,
got into
yeah,
the
yeah.
ICU, they did. But yeah, I was like, wow. And then going through what I went through, yeah, it changed your life. It changes your life. It changes everything about life. You know, everything that you hated or everything that you just dislike, just went out the door and just don't let it bother you because those are the things that'll just bring you down more. So just get rid of it and just enjoy life. It's all it is. It's all it is. But they all, like I said, always ask the question. It's always ask the question: did you die? No, I didn't. All right, then it's cool.
I
Just
love that.
go.
That's a
Yep,
good question, though. It puts things in perspective.
that's
But
right.
thank
Tra
you
la la
so
and be
much.
happy. My
Yes.
pleasure. Remember,
Take
every day
care, and
better
we will
now.
keep in
Every day
touch.
better. Yeah, I
Yes,
will.
yes. Okay, take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.